Hello and welcome again. The second episode of Mostly Off Topic plays here, there, and Eriador, which is the One Ring Second Edition campaign. I, however, am joined by my players, who are fantastic players, it has to be said. And they're going to introduce themselves, they're going to introduce their characters, and they're going to talk about their character's favourite food, because that's why I sprung upon them last time and it felt unfair to change it. Okay. Gabe, start the intros.
Hi, I'm Gabe. I play Gert Gandry, a Bree man about town, traveling merchant, and kind of a bit of a braggart, but not in not in an overbearing way. Just enough to keep his friends happy with the tales he tells about his travels far and wide, less far and wide than he indicates, but still he's been around. His favorite food, I said, was a meat pie from the Prancing Pony. However, it's actually his wife's bean salad. Reminds him of the bean salad she made for him when they were courting. The famous Bree bean salad.
Thank you very much. Bree bean salad. In our spin-off recipe book that'll be available as a PDF download. You'll get that recipe, I guess. Okay, Sean, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sean. Yeah, I play Esteldor, Ranger of the North. He's currently had a new posting defending the borders of Shire. And I think his favourite food after last session, I say it's different types of mushrooms or mushroom product. Maybe mushroom soup. I mean, I don't like that personally, but I think Esteldor probably does.
That is the essence of role playing, right there, isn't it? Being able to kind of like foods, your character liking foods that you personally do not. I'm not a massive fan of mushroom soup. I have to say. Okay, Nick, hit us up with your stuff.
All right, so I'm Nick. I play a dwarven stonemason sculptor named Barnak, who hails from Erebor, the Lonely Mountain. And his favorite food is sort of a dessert, an apple-based dessert, where you take an apple, you cut it in half, then you hollow out the core of the apple and you fill it with nuts and honey and cinnamon, and then you bake all of it, and then you get a nice, tasty dessert.
So the break might be a little while whilst I go and make that, because that sounds absolutely gorgeous. I have to say. Okay, what would the name of that be? Like apple nut bake?
Just like a baked apple treat.
Baked apple treat. There you go.
This alternate cookbook is gonna be a banger.
It is. It certainly is. Matt.
Hello. Hi, I'm Matt. I'm playing Arthaniel. He is also another Dunedain, hailing from the northwest. Ranger of the North, of course, it has to be said, now posted in Bree. And favorite food, it has to be, something from my region. So probably a trout that's been caught nicely and then cooked over some fire. Probably with some potatoes if I can get some from some farmers. Maybe without asking, but I usually ask, and then some greens and stuff. If I'm closer to home, maybe some game, like a nice game pie, and I'm not partial to some mushrooms. There's lots of nice mushrooms up in the woods in my part of the world.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So you like some taters? Is that what we're hearing? Matt?
Well, they would.
What?
Yeah. New potatoes. I think they would.
Oh, okay.
It would have to be just before the farmers get into their business.
Good stuff, Alessandro.
I'm Alessandro, and I'm playing Gudrun, a girl from Bree from Dale, so over the Misty Mountain, and Gudrun's, my preferred food is the apple pie that my grandmother used to cook in Dale. However, being in Bree, I was really impressed by the stew they served me in the Prancing Pony with potato and porridge. That was really delicious. I don't know if it was just delicious because I came there from a very long and fatiguing trip, but it was.
Excellent. I think it probably knocks you out of the park, even if it's a Tuesday evening, and you've walked out from the old town. Okay, excellent. So this is the second session. What happened in the first session?
Well, we came together. We all had a vision to create a cookbook of and I think Limba's toast was the only thing we came up with.
That's right.
But then we sadly were interrupted by a young lad named Thomas who went chasing off a troll, who suspected that the troll had, I think, Thomas's uncle, who had a treasure map. And now we, of course, dispatched that with ease, complete expertise, precision, and
very
somehow,
little,
despite all odds, we defeated the troll, discovered the treasure map along with a bunch of other things, and now, sort of stinky with the troll refuse, we return to Bree, I believe.
That's right. Yes. So, some other stuff
accurate.
being the corpses of two Bree folk in varying stages of
Yeah.
death on
Right.
the back of Bert, and also a level of wolves prowling, reclaiming took the troll corpse. And let's not forget the counselling of troubled teenagers that was offered, which Tolkien
Oh yes.
really downplayed that part of the Rangers of the North brief in the Book of the West Marsh, but it's there. I suspect it was for pacing reasons that he didn't include those chapters.
Yes, I believe Tomas is maybe on his way to being a junior ranger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's got
Seemed to really enjoy gathering 4 pieces of firewood.
I think he qualified for his wood gathering badge. Actually,
No, not yet. No.
not yet. Oh no, he's got a way to go. Actually, those rangers.
He's got to find different sizes of wood. It's not small. It looks like a log. Yeah.
That's right. They run a tight ship. The Rangers in the North. You can't just rock up with one size of wood and expect to get your kind of wood gathering badge.
Yeah, it's not making a week coming up on this episode, so.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Ready.
You also got the map. You learned the puzzle of the map, the dwarven magic that was contained within that, and learned about the king's chair, and the kind of like the treasure buried kind of in proximity to the king's chair, which sits off somewhere towards the northeast side of the Midgewater Mountains, kind of like northwest of Weathertop, that kind of area, and you returned back to Bree, coming up the Greenway, and then where the Greenway meets the Great East Road off into Bree, which is where we'll start the session. So it's the 10th day of April. Gwyrith, or freshness in Sindarin. Mid-morning, as a company of men, 1 woman and 2 mounts, makes their way through the southern gateway into Bree. The thick, twisted thorns of the hedge set beside the deep dike, delineating civilization from wilderness. Hey, Gert! Got any troll's teeth to share? laughs the Bree warden on duty. His eyes then narrow, and his tone grows cold as he spies the poor cloth and the keen weapons of the rangers of the north. You're in and heading towards the Greenway before you can do anything. The relative bustle of the town, going about its business, lies before you. The cobbles of the Great East Road describe a gradual curve into the most densely populated part of Bree, laying beneath grand fell Bree Hill as it does. Houses drop the brown corduroy roads that lead up the hill before they thin out and you spy the circular coloured doors of hobbit holes, almost towards the area where the hill crests off into the distance. Bree folk going about their business greet Gert with a wave. A funny comment about being out and about in the wilds, and then they become uniformly cold and wary as they spy the rangers. Strange company that Gert now seems to keep. It was okay when there was that beautiful lady and that dwarf, but really? What's weighing poor old Bert down then? Looks like a right sack of spuds, asks Robert McGwart. Oh my! And he grabs his mouth as Gert tells him it's 2 cups as a Bree folk recover from a troll hole. You end up, as travellers do, in the open area between the Prancing Pony and the Reeve's house in the centre of the old town. A gaggle of Bree folk are watching Barnabas Butterbur, perched upon a rickety ladder, reattaching the famous sign to its bracket. They offer the portly proprietor of the pony pointers on the proper way to position the Prancing Pony's proclamation of its name. Despite the best efforts of an inattentive stable boy to topple him, Barnabas eventually gets the sign swinging, and with little prospect of future entertainment, the crowd starts to disperse. What do you all want to do upon your return to Bree?
Gert wants to have a drink immediately.
Yes,
But there are the matter of the 2 corpses that probably need to be dealt with first.
Yeah.
but they're not going
Propose.
anywhere. Like, let's be honest, right? They're not in a hurry,
But are we going to deposit him here in the common room and then
Maybe there's
While
some
we-
parking area. There's like maybe a
I-
temporary storage area.
I had thought we could kind of.
Maybe
Gert
to the
kind of wanted to
graveyard.
run them off to the Reeve, and just kind of because if Gert stops traveling and settles down, he knows that eventually someone's going to put his name in for Reeve, and he's not ready for that, so he wants to give the current Reeve kind of a boost in popularity by taking care of these 2 remains.
Just over your shoulder, opposite the Prancing Pony, is the Reeve House. One of the big stone buildings, 3 stories, erected there. The current Reeve, Cole Pickthorn, quite an old guy, been Reeve for quite a while, served as councillor with the prior Reeve ahead of that. He, at this time, glancing up at the position of the sun, is probably getting a beer in the Prancing Pony, sturding himself for a day's worth of solid duty to the town of Bree.
And I imagine Gert knows this, so I proposed we stable Bert and I'm sorry, Gudrun, I forget your steed's name.
What?
I propose that we put them in the stable along with the remains, and we speak with the Reeve within the pony, and while we do so, let us have a drink.
Wow. I'd like to do that, but I think that it would be more appropriate if we unload our load by the graveyard. I don't think that Mr. Butterball would be very happy to have 2 corpses in his laces.
I just want to point out he doesn't need to know.
But I think
No.
it will smell it.
And this is
you're
why the
overestimating
Rangers of
this.
the North are not so welcome in Bree.
Yes, yes. If you want to change this, well, all these rumors about you, you need to start to behave a little more appropriately.
So Gert had a twofold plan, which was to have the Rangers publicly be involved in the recovering and proper reburying of these 2 Bree folk, and to kind of make it a little bit easier for him to be seen in their company around town. So ultimately he doesn't want to actually do the work unless people are watching, and he wants Esteldor and Arthaniel to be involved in it. So but it's hard to convey that to Gudrun, who wants to do the right thing. Gert wants to do the right thing in its own time, I think, is the... And Arthaniel just doesn't really... the right thing is we protect your borders and we get to drink when we want to drink, I think.
And then we could do both. You can go to take a drink, and I can bring the 2 mount and the 2 corpses by the graveyard, and somebody need to, well, maybe Gert should warn the Reeve and to organize the funeral and maybe also the party.
Yeah, I like that plan.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So Gudrun, you take the halter for Bert, the pony, and what you're going to start to kind of like walk around to the graveyard.
Yeah,
Who,
maybe with Thomas.
yeah, Thomas will come with you. Yeah.
There you go.
Thomas.
Anybody else?
Go to the pony. I would say to him, well, lad, you know, this is your uncle in the end, so please, you should go with until he's buried properly.
Yeah. Of course, lady. Yeah, I'm definitely. I need to. Yeah, you're right. So you two. Anybody else want to go with Gudrun? Everybody else is going for a beer.
Gert reluctantly goes in for a beer.
Okay.
No, I was looking for some place to wash myself also, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys go into. Okay. So Gudrun, Thomas, kind of like you start to lead the mounts, the corpses, kind of like off along the Greys Road. The graveyards are towards the edge of town, as it goes around to the east. People are milling around, so there's this crowd gathered around where Bolim and Barnabas was trying to fix the sign, and they're kind of like stopping and watching you. Some of them have started to go about their business. There's a couple of Bree wardens there with their cloaks and their stout staffs. They're particularly talking to each other, kind of looking mostly at the Rangers than anything else. Not masses of attention being paid to Gudrun or Thomas. There's a few lingering eyes from some of the younger men in the crowd at Gudrun as she kind of like walks through, but that's not at all unusual for her. And you guys go towards the thick set stone of the prancing pony. one of the largest buildings in Bree, and probably actually a combination of 3 or 4 buildings brought together over time. There's a main house, there's a stables house, there's been old extensions well before kind of Gert can remember, where additional accommodation has kind of like been placed there, and there's a big double-doored porch that you kind of go through. Gert is used to this. This is kind of like one of the many entrances that he's used heading into there, and it's grand in its own way, and you can smell the smoky atmosphere, even though the fire's only just started. It's not yet billowing over the hearth through the rafters. Many years of wood smoke in there, bit of sweat, the ale, the malt from the brewery that is kind of on there, and you head into the common room. Barnabas is off out the back. A couple of his maids around here. One of the little folk, a hobbit, another kind of a younger female from within Bree, and there's a small clutch of Bree folk gathered across, close to the fire, but a little bit further away. And at the centre of that, you can see the grey hair of Cole Pickthorn, Reeve of Bree. Got a couple of Bree wardens with him, a couple of the more prominent merchant families gathered there as well. Your father-in-law sits there as well, Gert. And then you scan around, and there's a few groups in various booths. There's a dwarf whose eyes kind of perk up a little bit as you kind of walk in, and got a cowl pulled even at this day through. The prancing pony isn't really designed to be seen at this time of the morning. The light, the sunlight spilling through, kind of shows its age more than it does in the evening. It's like going into a cinema with the lights turned on, or going into a nightclub as they bring the lights up. It's just, there's something strange about being able to see all the nooks and the crannies and having them illuminated. But it's still the familiar prancing pony. It's still got some good ale, some good food, some good people.
Is it improper to order beer at this hour?
Not for Gert, I don't imagine. That's for you guys to decide. The men at the table are drinking beer. So it'll be more watered down than you would kind of get. So water would be considered to be unclean, and you'd need to make sure it's hygienic by adding a bit of beer to it.
Just as I walk in, I just have a hood on. I'm trying not to draw any attention, or perhaps avoid my face being seen. I'm new to the area, so it may be obvious, but kind of I want to strider it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
it's
the group put together.
Yeah, so it's perfectly it's perfectly easy to hide your features, but it's much harder to avoid attention. There's just not very many people in. It's not unknown for rangers to be in the prancing pony, but it's unusual. Okay.
No, that's clear. I just want to remain a ranger, or hey, you look at this guy. I think I know him or something. It's just I want to not obviously hide myself, but just kind of blend in and follow my local fellow.
I'm imagining Esteldor like glad-handing you. Hi, wonderful to meet you. My name's Esteldor. I'm a ranger of the north.
Here's my card.
What is Esteldor doing? Is he kind of hanging back? Is he kind of pushing forward?
No, I'll stay behind Gert because he's the one who's he knows the people here.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm as covered up as Arthaniel. But I'd stay back with Arthaniel, not go forward.
and Barnak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am walking in and trying to maintain a distance from anyone who is within smelling distance of me and probably try to walk up to the innkeeper and ask for perhaps some sort of a cleansing apparatus that I might be able to use. As it's sort of because Barnak, I think, is a fairly a dwarvish dwarf, but still sort of a proud creature, and then likes to sort of keep himself presentable.
Okay. So you head across to the main bar area. Barnabas Butterbur, the innkeeper, is kind of like he's got thick grease on his hands that he's trying to kind of like get off. He's slightly distracted. What? Like a bath?
Something of the sort, yeah.
Yeah. Maisie. A bath. Get the bathhouse going. Maisie kind of looks in at this time of the morning. Yeah. This time of the morning. And some soap to get this stuff off. I'm getting it everywhere, and you can kind of like see behind the bar. There's this trail of thick grease where Barnabas has just touched everything as he's kind of come in. Kind of like goes, all right. So Gert, you'll want a pint, won't you? What about the others? Drinks. I'll get you some drinks. And he kind of like reaches up and he kind of grabs pewter casks and he kind of like brings them down, kind of hands them. Eventually, the maid brings them over. You kind of pick them up. The casks, the pewter tankers are covered in grease. He wasn't successful to clean them.
Gert just kind of says, this round is on me. You two, while Barnak has a bath, you two just kind of, there aren't many shadows here. Just kind of stay here at the bar, sip your beer. I need to go speak with the Reeve, if you don't mind. And
this ale.
Also, you may have noticed that maybe everyone is looking at you. Maybe they don't trust you. Leave that to me.
Sure.
The ale is gorgeous as it hits the back of the throat, building on kind of Gudrun's assertion that it might have been the journey that improved the flavour. You strongly suspect it's definitely the journey that's improving this flavour. It's refreshing, it hits the spot, it's really, really nice. So, Gert, Cole Pickthorn says as you advance. How was it?
Well, there was another, troll hunt.
Another troll hunt? How much? How many is that now, Gert? Is that the 5th or the 6th?
I believe that's the 5th troll hunt. It did get a bit scary with the young Thomas in tow.
Has he made it back?
He's all right. He was very distraught about his uncle.
That's not how his father says it, but...
Well, he and his father have things to work out. Thomas is a good lad.
I'm not so sure, Gert. I'm not so sure. One of the other guys chirps in. Has there got any proof of this troll, Gert? Like you hadn't of the other ones. What was it this time? Scarecrow took it? Bird carried it away?
The troll was dragged off by a pack of hungry wolves as we camped.
Of course it was. Lads, calm yourselves down. If Gert says he killed a troll, it's good enough for me.
Well, you won't have to rely just on my word. There's a dwarf taking a bath that you can speak with.
So we're supposed to believe a bathing dwarf. Well, I tell you what, that's a good one.
Hey, Gert feels better than to point out that the two rangers can also back up his story.
the presence of the Rangers is being noted and has been noted. Well, anyways, I guess it's all well that you're back here, isn't it? And Thomas is safe. So, so what do you think that troll was doing in the graveyard?
Well, to put it frankly, he was searching for food amongst our departed. Indeed, he made off with at least 2 Bree folks. I've returned their remains so they can be properly buried. I came to find you, Cole, and I knew that you would want to have a very ceremony and public reinterning.
Well, it's as Reeve, and I'm not one to claim credit for other people's undertakings, but I'm not a young man anymore, and it's important that we here in Bree, and he looks at Arthaniel and Esteldor, we here in Bree can look after our own. We're not reliant on others. So I'm really glad that I was able to commission these good works and ensure that Gert and his companions, the bathing dwarf and that lass she's all right, was able to go and recover the remains of those honest, proud Bree folk that we had put into the earth with the hopes that they would remain there so we could honour them as they had passed. So, whilst it might not be me that undertook these works, it was in my direction, and with my guidance, I'd say, that this was done. So, I tell you, Gert, well done. Thank you for bringing honour to those Bree folk. Whereabouts are they now? Don't tell me you've parked them out back.
It had never crossed my mind to put them out back by the stables, and you wounded me a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gert, but
I've had them brought to the graveyard. Gudrun, who can also attest to the troll slaying, is there with Thomas, who, being a good lad, would absolutely not leave his uncle's side.
Thomas.
Yes, indeed.
That,
The very same.
He must have turned. He used to be a lazy half-wit. I've given him a clip around his ear more than once, let me tell you.
Well, he's well on his way to becoming a man now. We all gathered firewood together. I think you know what that means.
Aye, I do. A ritual that talks to the progress from boy to man, that does. Oh, aye, well, I don't know what's less believable, that you slayed a troll, or that Thomas has been collecting firewood. God, that Thomas Eaton collecting firewood.
Well, there's no evidence of either, unfortunately.
Well, I tell you what, I'll take the troll slaying as fact, and I'll see what lengths of wood Thomas has been able to collect, because if they're all the same, it doesn't count. Right, so, I tell you, lads, the only small problem I've got now, Gert, I have to say, is the problem of bringing some outlaws with the outside of the community.
I know. Here in Bree, we have many sayings. You can't spell stranger without ranger. Ranger danger. I got him.
Sorry, I can't help.
Ranger danger.
It's true. I've got to say, never let a stranger become a ranger or stuff. I'll work on it.
But I can tell you now that we would not have the opportunity to have recovered the remains of the Bree folk, nor had a success in tracking them if it had not been for those two souls. And I felt the least I could do was buy them a pint.
Well, you can have a pint of the morning beers, but keep your hands off the good stuff for the evening. That's what I say. Now, he kind of leans in a little bit closer and he says, "It's one thing, Gert, to be saying that they're slain a troll. It's another thing to be saying that Thomas has been out collecting firewood, but rangers of the north, up, following Greenway, they're here. They'll be spying business that we're into and taking it back to their masters. Are you sure?"
These two are youngers. I feel as though they may be being punished by being sent here.
Oh,
Don't get the thought that they are spies per se. I think they've done some disapproved works somewhere up north, as they do.
yeah.
Whatever they get up to up north.
They'll have been rustling. That's what they'll have been doing, because they don't know how to grow, do they? They can only take. There's no good farm work up there, is there? No honest labouring. That's true. Now, I tell you, Gert, you know the rules as well as I do. If there's anybody got any rangers in, you need to mark it down in book, and they're your responsibility. Any chickens go missing, any cats walk on wrong side of road, weird stuff. Any cow's milk gets soured, we know where we'll be going first.
Mister, I understand.
Now, also keep them away from the older women, because we don't want them to be shocked by saying this. We don't want them to be saying that the moral standards have been slipping in Bree with me as Reeve. All right. Okay.
Very well.
Oh, one other thing. Your father has been telling me that his wife's had a fall. She's not doing right well. So Lady Anne might be a bit upset. Okay, just word to the wise. Got to look after the missus.
Thank you. I appreciate the forewarning, and I will see to her immediately. I just knew that I needed to bring this to your attention as soon as possible.
I appreciate it, because, as I said, it's important that we look after our deceased, and it's important that I, Reeve, Cole Pickthorn, managed to send out Gert, Gudrun, and is that dwarf singing? Is that dwarf sing? Barnabas, can you have a word with that dwarf? This is getting out of control. I tell you, it's like a menagerie in the Prancing Pony this morning. It's ridiculous.
All right, I'll sort of wrapped in a towel, or at least my cloak. I'll walk out. Oh, sorry. So you are the famed Reeve that I was told so much about.
Oh yeah, famed.
Barnak, son of Brignac of Erebor, at your service. Say I, still kind of dripping with soap and.
Well, I am the famed. So are you saying that the name? I think you were saying, and I think it's absolutely true, that my name, Cole Pickthorn, has made its way all the way. Which directions are it? Is it east? It's east, isn't it? East towards Erebor. And let's not forget, it was probably at this very table that the quest for Erebor started, when that guy Gandalf and King at Dwarves, as he was back then, I think, met in the Prancing Pony here in Bree. It's probably not the last important thing that's going to happen in Bree. I don't think. But it's very good of you, Master Dwarf, to honour my name and to say how important I am in Erebor.
Well, of course, because as you know, we dwarven kind, we Durin's folk, tend to travel east and west from Erebor all the way to the Blue Mountains, and therefore the old ways have been maintained, at least in this section, very well. Now, to business.
Excuse me, Dwarf. Dwarf, your robe's slipping a little bit. Could you like? Thank you. It's one thing. It's one thing to
I kind of stretch my beard down a little bit so that it covers.
That's okay.
The important part.
Bit strange, but never mind. Okay.
I overheard that the two unfortunate people that we reclaimed recently, that they would be reinterred.
Aye, that's
and
right.
I'm not entirely sure of the burial customs here in Breeland, but perhaps they would require some new headstones or some stone-like craftsmanship to remember their passing.
That sounds expensive. The Bree's public purse is restricted, and as Reeve, it falls upon me to disburse and to spend. I say spend those monies sensibly. Just hold that thought 2 seconds there, Master Dwarf. Gert, whose bodies is it? Or what's the second one?
Although I'd purposely not mentioned who it was, because it was Dreyfus Longshanks, who basically everybody disliked.
Okay, well, we'll find a refuse tip for him. As I remember it, Gert, there was talk of a treasure map. Thomas was talking about a treasure map that night in the pony. Was that something you found?
I've only just got the lad collecting firewood. We'll move on to fibbing later.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, they're not that well off the Heatons. So, right. So, Master Dwarf, it's important to me as kind of like a community spokesperson, really, for Bree, and I like to represent the view of the people of Bree. But frankly, we don't need any stone markers for them. They would like to be buried in keeping with how they live their life, frugally and without any money. So I think we'll be okay. But thank you very much for the offer. You can say back to your people in Erebor that their future services may well be needed, because actually I might be thinking about my own mortal thoughts. So maybe it's something we could talk about later. Actually, in fact, I'll where are you staying, Dwarf?
So if I'm not, so I was, and this is Nick talking. So
Yep.
as I understood, there is sort of
the dwarf house,
kind of a dwarf house, sort of a dwarven establishment. So I probably over there, but I'm sort of a piece of furniture in both here in the Prancing Pony and there as well.
All right, so if you're over there, I'll send word, and we can maybe talk about my own funerary arrangements. There we go. Look at that, lads. That's how you conduct diplomacy.
Of course, well, I would. Well, I would say looking forward to it, but of course I wouldn't dare.
Oh, I see what you're saying there. Well done, Master Dwarf. Well done. Right, so I think then, it's time that we go about our important business of of the town, which we will conduct over at the Reeves' house. Hey, Barnabas, get some beer sent over there for us, yeah? Good work, lad. And Gert, it's been very good of you to return back. And if they want to tell the story of the troll later this evening to the party, then that would be excellent. But I think it's really important that these stories are framed. It's really important that they have like a narrative device and like a layer of subtext. And I think that the narrative device and the subtext needs to be about how great it is that the Reeve of this fine town is able to dispatch heroes from itself alongside Gudrun and Master Dwarf here to defend ourselves. And that's good leadership in action. I think that's an important subtext, and I think that the people will really respond to that.
I forget what year it is. Isn't it an election year?
Well, every year's an election year, isn't it? Let's face it, Gert. But we don't elect the Reeve, do we? We just kind of like choose them from like, who it is and stuff like that. But you know, we're not that advanced anyway. Anyway, I'm just suggesting to you that's a good way to frame the narrative. Downplay the outsiders, upplay the people. The guys will laugh it up. You'll not have to drink. You'll not have to pay for your drink tonight. That's all I'm saying. Right. Anyway,
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And if you want to come and see me, Master Dwarf, you've got that huge chunk of stone that there's been parking slightly illegally.
Yes, I hope you don't mind.
Well, there might be some conversations. I've had some. Well, anyway, we'll talk about it.
I'm sure I'll get it out of your hair in no time.
And just one more thing, Gert. Them rangers are your responsibility.
Understood. Keep them away from the old women. I understand.
Well, just. Thank you very much, everybody. What are you doing with that cloth, Barnabas? You made it absolutely bloody filthy. He kind of like gets up and exits to his right. Can everybody who is there make me a scan roll for me, please? And Arthaniel, can you make it favoured?
I would prefer awareness, but I would do a scan as well.
No, I think it's more scan.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh. I've got 13 for me.
It's, so just tell me whether success and quality.
Oh, no, failed.
Success for Gert.
Hang on. Favorite is double feet, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, it's like advantage in 5th edition.
So I had 9, but oh no, I will swap the 9 for 6 then. So 9. So it's a fail.
Oh, okay. So Gert, Gert and Barnak, did you succeed? Okay, so Gert, as you were kind of like talking to the Reeve and kind of like scanning the room, kind of like looking at the audience, the everybody was kind of interested, but as soon as he asked about the map, the dwarf kind of like with his hood up in his booth kind of like was definitely leaning forward at that point. And then as he was starting to talk about stone and stuff, he kind of got up and left the room.
Okay. So once the Reeve and everyone have kind of, the wardens have left, I gather the four of us together and say quietly, listen. We cannot reveal anything about this map. There was a dwarf here, and once he spoke of it, the dwarf showed a keen interest. I knew that we couldn't talk about it publicly. The dwarf left quickly after that. Now we'll have to find out who that is. Barnak, you're probably the best at figuring out who that is once you put your clothes back on. Esteldor, Arthaniel.
All right. Yeah, I'll go over to the dwarf house and
too. You've done us a great service, and I believe we hold you in high regard. But unfortunately, you will have to win this town over one citizen at a time. I cannot offer you the public comforts of the House of Gandry, but you are welcome there, and but you will have to leave and enter there under darkness while we're here in Bree. It is unfortunately the best I can offer you right now. The Reeve has his eye upon me, ever upon me. He fears that I am too popular.
In the election,
I mean,
No,
anyone's better than him. So
no, thanks, Gert. That's much appreciated. Perhaps getting popular in Bree is not exactly the top of my list, but it's it's nonetheless nice to be recognized by one or two people. And thanks for the drink. It's actually quite nice.
Oh, I'll bring you some that's not watered down. You'll love it.
that was watered down.
These poor rangers are eating they don't use spices. They don't have just just cook this meat with nothing but flame.
Esteldor's like the room. Does the prancing pony normally spin? Okay.
And then immediately, he's got two choices. He's got to go check on Gudrun, but he also was informed that his wife is not exactly thrilled with him. So I think maybe Gert will try to go home and ask maybe the rangers to check on Gudrun. He's
We'll be happy to help.
Kind of trusting that Gudrun has it in hand, but also that Thomas is definitely not mature enough to handle that, and also he doesn't want Gudrun to say anything to the Reeve because she will probably rip his head off and make him regret speaking, and it'll go poorly for everyone.
Okay, so you kind of you head your separate ways from the prancing pony. Barnak back to where his clothes are. The ranger's off. And we'll zoom back as kind of like we go back to the scene where you split and Gudrun and Thomas kind of like started to make their way down the Great East Road. Clip, clop, clip, clop as the shod horses' hooves clatter on the cobbles. The Great East Road's got a lot of the kind of like important crafts houses along it. There's the well, which is an important Bree landmark. A number of the Bree landers are gathered around that. A few of them kind of stand up, probably about Thomas's age. Kind of look across him. Hey, Thomas! Hey, Tommy! He kind of like more or less ignores them, carries on dutifully. They sit themselves down. You can tell Gudrun that he's a little bit despondent. His mood's dipped a little as he's kind of like come back into town.
I think I missed a few words of your talking.
Okay.
There was when you are speaking softly, I missed completely the voice.
So Thomas is a little despondent as you're walking along. His friends have called out to him from the well, and he's ignored them. And you can sense some trouble in him. Normally, he's quite an up and at them kind of personality, but he's now just very sullen.
Well, along the road, then Gudrun has tried to cheer him up, and saying, "Look, lad, you had your first adventure, and well, you are quite a hero, you know. You was in a company that killed a troll. There are not so many men and never young men that could claim such great fact, like great action.
Yeah,
So
I guess, but I'm just back here now, aren't I?
yes, you're back, but well, think this evening when you will hear somebody singing your song to entertain the people in the common room.
I
Aren't you
guess.
happy about that?
I guess. Yeah. I am. But
What is your concern?
why did you leave where you came from, Gudrun?
Oh, well, that's a personal question, but I want to, to tell you why. Because, well, my town came to be a little for me, and I want to experience the wide world and to meet new people from across the mountains. And I had to bring a parcel to a little fellow that lived not very far from here. I heard.
Would you have
And
left?
maybe this could be your next adventure.
Would you have left if you didn't have a parcel to deliver?
Oh, would you have left the Bree if your uncle wouldn't be stolen by a troll?
Oh yeah. It was because he was stolen by a troll and not attempt to steal the treasure map. I My dad wouldn't have let me, and I don't know if I'd have been brave enough.
Well, you don't want to go back home, don't you?
Oh, I want to see. I want to see my brother and my sisters again, and my mum, but my dad's just a bit of a dick, if I'm honest, and I think Bree might be a bit too small for me now. Do you think you could go and talk to my dad and just explain why you left and how it's been good for you?
I could do, but do you think that is a good idea? Would your father appreciate
Yeah.
what I did? What you want to do?
I What do you think I should say to him?
I tell you, maybe we could tell him your story, what you did, the hero that you have become, and in the end, that maybe you want that your and that your road goes ever on, and then doesn't stop at the door of your home.
I guess I can try. I mean, he'll be in the pony tonight. He's always in the pony in the evening, and I guess if he hears stories about me helping and being brave and getting all the best bits of wood, they burn the best, definitely. The ones I brought back, I checked. Then he'll think of me as being, or maybe more of a man. I don't think he thinks of me as a man anymore. I think he just thinks of me as a boy. What's he said before? He said, the problem with you, Thomas, is you're just lazy, selfish, and self-centered.
But you can tell him, and I will tell him, that you risk your life to recover the remains of your uncle. And if I can, I suggest to you not to mention the map.
Yeah. Is that because we're going to go and look for it? We don't want him to follow.
No, because it's just unappropriated. You will look more like an hero just to sacrifice yourself for a good purpose, not just for a map and like to put your hand on a treasure. And then maybe your father will be more how can I say it could be more soft, and maybe you could persuade him to let you go roaming around to seek other adventures in the future.
Maybe, but you're bloody brilliant with a bow and arrow, Gudrun. Your shot straight into that troll's head. That was amazing.
That's just luck. Don't tell it anyone. The hero is our leader, Greg. That is the town hero, and I will sing a song about him this evening. There is a song that I have in my mind and in my fingers, and I will show you. You heard some pieces of it along the road, and maybe this evening or the next evening you will heard the entire piece. People don't like to know to hear that a girl managed a weapon and killed a troll. Nobody believe it if you tell him.
But you did. I mean, you're so strong, and you can shoot a troll through the eye, and you can sing, and you got such great advice. Oh, we're at the graveyard, so we should probably look. I'll get my uncle's body down. And it kind of starts to do it, but dead bodies are an absolute nightmare. And he just drops it, and Bert skitters off to the side. With a thud, and he kind of just drags it slightly casually and unceremoniously across the ground. The sacking starts to tear as it hits a bit of a stone, and oozes out of it.
Please, but carefully, please, and I try to help them somehow. There is a more appropriate way to deliver this remains to their resting places.
Yeah. Okay. And you kind of help him out through, and kind of there, and the graveyard keeper kind of comes out, and you explain the situation. And it's kind of okay, great, and one of the Bree wardens comes from the Reeve, starts to take over the arrangements and such like, and Thomas starts to walk back with you. I wish I was as brave. How old are you, Gudrun?
I think 20, 24, I think. Oh, no. I was younger. Just let me tell. Yes, I think 18.
18. He starts doing a bit of maths in his head, and goes a little bit red as he walks on. Okay, so Rangers to the north, and our friend Barnak. So Barnak, you clean yourself up. You're going to head off to the dwarf house. What are Arthaniel and Esteldor kind of going to be doing?
Probably go and check on the graveyard situation, right?
Okay.
Yeah. As per Gert, yeah, we'll go do what he asked.
Yeah.
You meet Gudrun and Thomas kind of like coming back. As Thomas spies you, he takes a couple of paces away from Gudrun.
I just on the way. Sorry, Paul. Just on the way, I just a quick word to Esteldor. Look, I guess we are fairly new in town. Let's play it sort of safe. Keep our eyes open and just sort of see what we can find out. You know, I'm not planning to make any sort of problems here. I think there is some stories perhaps here that we would like to discover. So just you probably know this, but I thought I'll share it anyway.
Of course, yeah.
Arthaniel Ranger splains? Is that how that is?
Well, he's because like he's finding this new situation new, I guess, and because he feels that he has the bit of seniority, and it feels like he can play.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, you're the old one, aren't you?
You both can tell that you're being followed by a couple of Bree wardens. They're trying their hardest to be casual about it, but they've got newspaper with holes cut through and stuff like that.
Oh, is it going to be like in the Hobbit movie, the Master's Spies?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's they're trying very hard to keep it subtle, but they're not. They're failing dismally. One of them's quite a big guy, probably 6'6", and bulky with it as well. The other ones are much more kind of like normal sized Bremen, for want of a better works. They're kind of not. They're not interfering with you, but they're you stop, they stopped, you left, they left, that kind of thing. And then you kind of catch up with Gudrun and Thomas as they're coming back from the graveyard with Bert the pony and Gudrun's palfrey. Thomas takes a couple of paces away from Gudrun, who's reasonably close to her, and it just takes a couple of paces away as you guys approach.
Gudrun, Thomas?
Oh, pleased to meet you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
How is the beer?
It's
Surprisingly
pretty decent.
good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Less shit than we thought it was going to be is basically what they just said.
I mean, I've mainly been living off river water, so this is an improvement.
My grandma.
Better than river water.
My mom used to tell me once that man always ready to go to the pub in Dale. And well, you have just proved that she was true. Brave man.
Ben, the world over. Okay. Thomas,
sorry. Have you speak with the Reeve?
No, we haven't.
With the Reeve?
No, then Gert did the docking. So we will probably catch up with him later, I suspect. We will see.
He asked us to come find you and Thomas.
If it's okay with you guys, I'm just gonna go and catch up with some of my friends. I saw some of them over at the well. Thank you for your help, Gudrun, and what you
you're
said.
welcome.
I really appreciate it. And he kind of like does a slightly weird formal bow to you, and kind of like doesn't quite know whether he's shaking hands or what he's doing.
And I bow myself, and then I kiss him on the cheek.
Oh, he goes scarlet, like really kind of like bright red.
Let's go for a
Okay,
pie.
wait.
His
A while.
friends.
He kind of like holds his hand up and thinks better of wiping off Gudrun juice from his cheek, and kind of like he looks around. He doesn't know whether he's got to be proud about this or whether he's just slightly embarrassed by it. And then he trips over himself as he kind of like turns to kind of like get over and pretends that he meant to do that and turns into sort of like kind of elaborate skip and step dance, and then kind of like he's out of there. There we go. Okay, so we've had politicians and awkward teens. Who next in my array of NPCs? You all, well, particularly Esteldor and Arthaniel, you see the two Bree wardens kind of like follow Thomas rather than you guys.
I'll just watch them how this develops and say to the rest. So I guess we're just waiting for everybody else to catch up, right? We're meeting here.
Did Gert tell us where to meet, Arthaniel? Because did he say to go to his house, or was it back to the pub? Or
Yeah.
I don't think I caught that at the bar.
No, I'm a bit hazy. On that.
I don't. It's definitely not the ale.
He
No,
said
no,
use
no,
the
no,
front
we-
door loudly in public.
I think
Ah.
probably we had one, maybe 3 max. Like, yeah.
Yes. So, okay, guys, it'll be fine so long as at the Siege of Pelennor Fields, nobody gives the Rangers beer. Because as soon as that happens, they don't know if they're invading Rohan or defeating Mordor. Okay. So it's one of the character flaws of the Dunedain. It appears that they're just lightweights. It seems that way.
It's because we've got to be dedicated to protecting people. We can't be drunk, can we? So
that's right.
We
So
drink
you,
like once
that's
every 3 months.
that's the excuse.
yeah, that's it. That's it's served. It's served for many generations since the breaking of the world onwards. Okay, right. So let's pick up with Barnak. Barnak's towelled himself down. His hair dried his beard, which I can imagine is a nightmare to get kind of like get
Combed.
dry. Yeah, combed his beard. So it's around about. So it was April when you arrived in Bree, and it's like mid-June when Barnak is suitably kind of like ready to kind of like get going. Okay, yeah, you head towards the dwarf house, which is kind of like a YMCA for dwarves. Coming into Bree. It's run by a dwarf called Luki, Luki, who is grey bearded. From the Iron Hills, which is kind of like the other side of Erebor, the good thing about Luki, he has an opinion on everything and anybody. You're not quite sure that his opinion is entirely right, but you can kind of like you can be asking him all kinds of questions, and if you separate out the facts from the fiction a little bit, you can kind of get a nugget usually of what's there. And Barnak, you kind of think it's probably got a good appreciation of people, a good judge of character. He certainly warms to you quite a lot. And that's kind of like Luke, grey bearded, clean, tidy. Observes the proprietaries of dwarven culture pretty well.
Good, I can appreciate that. So, okay, so the dwarf house, so it's not so much as like an inn or a tavern, it's more like kind of a...
It's more like a lodging house. It's got a common room,
okay.
but and of course there's ale, but it's not, that's not its primary purpose. Its primary purpose is really a place where traveling merchants in Bree can base themselves. Dwarven merchants in Bree can base themselves and feel kind of like at home. So the architecture is much more dwarven. The interiors are much more dwarven. The food is as dwarven as you can kind of get within the constraints of the place.
Okay, then I would go in, and if I could see the steward, if I can see Lukey, I would hail him in Dwarven. And I would sort of say, well, sorry, I've been away for a few days. Anything interesting has happened while I was gone?
Ooh, well, let's think.
Rock still fine?
The rock's the rock, isn't it? It's not going anywhere. There's been a few people coming along. I've had to stop the dogs pissing on it mostly, but nothing of great note. It's just quiet this time of year, getting ready for the market season. The roads will have opened either way of the Great East Road. So in a couple of months' time, it'll start to get really busy. We'll get a load of stuff in here. Market days will be busy. I don't know if dwarves would say buzzing, but that's what he says. How about yourself?
Oh, well, I was out troll hunting.
Troll hunting?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
As it happens. Well, I mean... Oh, well, I mean, I'm not familiar with Breland. I think it's somewhere south of here. There were a lot of...
Did you kill it?
Holy... Well, I was sort of near when it happened, so...
So it's dead then?
So I basically killed it.
Oh, well, bloody well done. Bloody well done. Do you know what? Let's get ourselves a beer in to celebrate. And he kind of like reaches behind. I call this Ranger Killer.
Oh.
3%. They can't handle it. He hands it across to you.
Oh.
To dead
Ranger
trolls.
Killer.
Ranger Killer. Aye. To dead trolls.
To dead trolls.
The best kind.
Say, well, I am, of course, a guest here in Breland, so I'm excited to learn all about it. Whatever, including what kind of piss water they call beer around these parts. I guess I come with...
So, I mean, there's not much happening. There's a Bree is, well, frankly, it's a poxy little place. If it was in Dale, we'd call it a hamlet, wouldn't we? I mean, honestly, Rovanian, I've seen bigger and better places there. And if you go down to the Sea of Rune, now Dorwinian, that is a place worth taking up for.
Yeah.
And you find me a house that's been stood for more than 20 years. Head towards the coast, and all you got is elves and smaller than us folk. And then up to the north, not much.
Yeah. Well, right. So one more question I wanted to ask you, Lukey, is so I'm, my precious rock. I am very protective of it. So I was sort of interested in, yeah.
So yeah, go on. Sorry. Yeah.
So my question was, have you seen any sort of more, I don't know, how should I say, maybe dwarves of lesser repute skulking around? Anyone sort of secretive? Anyone shady, cloaked?
You're talking
someone like that.
You're talking about Gror, aren't you?
Gror, like Gror?
Yeah, exactly like that. If he can in fact spell his own name. Jury's out on that one, frankly. He kind of like leans in, takes another drink. If he wasn't so small, and if he didn't have, it pains me to say it, but a pretty good beard, I wouldn't call him a dwarf at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can find a bigger insult than that, I'd like to hear it because I'd consider using it. I actually don't know. Okay. I like you, Barnak, and that is a really good rock outside. And I've seen your skills with hammer and chisel. You're all right. You're not the best. But you're good, and you got lots of learning ahead of you.
I don't presume to be.
And you take care of yourself, and you present like a proper dwarf should. He does not. I don't even think he's got nails in his boots. I think he glues them. I think he glues the sole on. Exactly. And
Well, but why is he here? What's he doing here?
he's covetous. He's after something. He tells me when I got him into his cups one time and started to, prod and poke a little, he tells me that he's here because his brother died nearby and he wants something that was his brother's. Darkness is a place where his spirit goes to plot vengeance, not a place where he honours his ancestors and mines the good veins. He's after something, and if you ask me, he's seen too much gold and he wants it all to be his. He kind of like leans back knowingly. He's a wrongun, Barnak. A wrongun.
Well, thank you for the warning. I will keep an eye out for this Gror and make sure that he doesn't get my rock.
Yes, he'd probably have it as soon as look at it.
Yeah, that thing is almost worth its weight in gold once it reaches its destination.
More than gold, you can carve some beautiful things out of rock. We express our inner selves through our actions in the outer world. That's what my ma used to tell me. Do what's right by king and clan.
Just smart people.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
is what makes us honest.
Absolutely. Do you need, perhaps? Sorry,
I was just thinking of other sayings. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, I said, well, maybe you want something for your establishment. Maybe a door frame, ornate and chiseled. I do like knots and things. I carve.
That would be fantastic. If you could get me. No, honestly. So the room at the top of the stairs, the sill of the window. I've been eyeing up what we could do with that for many a year. If you could leave me some mark there, some traditional stonework, I would be honoured.
All right. Then I'll go and sketch out and work on that. But I think I've learned what I came here for.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Good stuff. Good. You heading back home?
Yeah. It's important for Gert. Generally, when he returns, he heads to the pony and finds out that his wife is not not happy that he's been gone so long, and then he has to head home.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of his traditional thing. So it's following the normal pattern. So as he leaves to head up the hill, he's pleased that he was able to give explicit instructions to the Rangers on what they should do with their day.
Okay, so you kind of like make your way up the hill towards home. Various Bree folk kind of like stop to chat, inquire how your travels went. There's always a distinct look of amusement, a little bit of admiration, some pride in the face of those that stop you, and will say, "What's new? How are the wilds?" But eventually, you make it to your tidy house, well appointed. There's a large garden. And at this time of year, it's showing the tall stems of tulips coming through their bulbs, starting to turn into flower. There's herbs. There's the tops of the beets that have been left in the ground over winter. There's the shingles on the roof patched and a lick of fresh paint on the shutters. A couple of hobbits, their overcoats resting on one of the stone walls of the garden. They nod their head at you as you go past. Two boys are playing with an older hobbit in the area in front of the large porch entrance. The older child stands a foot or so taller than Hob Burrows, who's the patriarch of the Burrows family that have been cellar hobbits in this household for generations. "Papa! Papa!" The younger boy races down towards you. Sam, his bright blonde hair, cheeky smile, giggling, he grabs you around the waist and just pulls you and squeezes you so tight. The older boy, Garth, brown hair like his mother, slate grey eyes the colour of storm clouds. He stops a few steps away, holds out his hand, his voice a little bit deeper than you remember from just a few days ago. "Father!" he offers. Your wife, Anne. Go on, sorry.
I shift Sam over and I reach out to give Garth a handshake, and then I pull him into a.
You're far too strong.
Teen hug.
He grabs you and kind of like gives you a hug back. Anne, your wife, she's got a basket of laundry under one arm. She comes out into the late morning sun. This time of year, her freckles over her nose are just starting to come through. She gazes across at her family and you see her smile. She's so pleased that you're all back together again. Her hair is in a bun out of the way and she passes the basket to Hob, the hobbit, and embraces you while she's nuzzling Bert the pony under the nose. No, she can't be because Bert is over at the graveyard. She pretends to nuzzle Bert the pony under the nose. How was it?
So Gert basically just always tells her how it actually went. It was difficult. It was, if we hadn't had two rangers, I don't know if we'd have managed it, tracking this troll down and
So it was a
finishing it
troll.
off. It was a troll. The
Rangers.
troll was digging through our graveyard, digging through the old graves. Even dug up old Dreyfus Longshanks.
Oh. Her face communicates the lack of, there's no loss there then. Well, that's nice to you. Grandpapa's coming over later. Grandmama took a fall. He's never been able to look after himself, so I was thinking about taking the boys over there for a few days. Hob will look after the grocers. She owns her own grocer shop. She's independently. She's got her own independent source of funds and her own income. She kind of like looks after a grocer's store that she owns. She's got a manager appointed and such like. So I was thinking about heading out to Chetwood back home for a few days.
Sure. And you're taking the boys with you.
Well, I didn't. We went back, so
No, I understand. I'll be here when you get back. I might. I might have a couple of the companions that helped me. Quite frankly, helped me survive out there. I might host them here and
well, your
them
friends
off.
are as I've always said, your friends are my friends. Are they rangers?
No, one of them is a beautiful 19-year-old girl.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. They're rangers.
Oh, phew. No, that's worse. She doesn't quite know where to go. Okay. Just look, if they helped, and if they say that, I know the Rangers get a bad press, but I've seen some of the work that they've done over at Mama and Papa's farm. So if you're okay with that, then I'm okay with that. Just don't put them in a good room.
Yeah, no. Don't you worry. I've asked them to leave and come and go under the cover of darkness and as much secrecy as they can muster. We've got Cole Pickthorn sniffing around.
Oh,
he's still afraid I'm going to stand for Reeve and
Gert,
easily win.
You need to, Gert. The guy is a pompous fool. He's always claiming credit. If you listen to him, he single-handedly built the hedge. We can do so much better than that.
Well, you could stand for Reeve. Everybody loves you too.
Do you know what, Gert? Maybe I will. Oh, okay. Yes. Mum and Dad are talking. Right. Okay. Look, go and play with the boys. I'll fix you something up. I know you won't need anything to drink, but I'll get you some food inside of you.
It was day beer. It wasn't even a proper pint.
Doesn't count that, does it? Basically, day beer.
No, basically water.
Well, it's probably better than river water. Okay, right. So you kind of head off. Everybody kind of goes about their various elements of business. So that was perhaps a little bit more kind of mundane than we would necessarily have in a game of high stakes. But I just think it's nice to kind of like have some of those elements playing out to kind of create a sense of what normality may well look like. What are you all doing with your time in Bree? What is the plan now?
I think we had an idea that we were going to deal with the bodies and then have a proper look at the map in private where we could all discuss it. Gert's idea was that they could just come to his home and have a more private kind of open discussion about what it was, what it meant, and if they could, if it was something that they needed to look into.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move the day along. Sorry, Strontium Dog 1999 says in chat the Reeve once killed an orc with nothing but his wits and a mug of Bree brew, which is not true. It was just half a mug. But there we go. Okay, so let's move ourselves on into kind of like early evening, such like everybody's managed to congregate themselves in Gert's house. Anne has taken the kids with the father-in-law, kind of like back to the parental home. Thomas isn't around. He's not quite sure where he's off and up to. you're absolutely certain that old grandmother down the lane is going to be reporting to Anne that there was an 18-year-old lady who came to visit after hours. There's no way those curtains twitching are not going to kind of like get themselves back. But there we have it. That's a problem for the future self. And you're kind of like around the kitchen table in Gert's house, everybody. Map laid out in front of you kind of style.
Well, we should hold this conference in a bit of, well, I think as much secrecy as we possibly can, and I share what I have learned about this Gror type, that I suspect this is the one dwarf who saw us, overheard our conversation about the map in the Prancing Pony. And, yeah. So I don't know what exactly he's after, but he might be someone we should be looking out for.
Do you think that this Gror is that who drawn this map? Because this is a dwarven map. We all recognized it, but you say that it is a kind of a scoundrel, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
the map. Yeah. Maybe the map point where what is theft lays.
Oh, so you mean like he doesn't want us to find the location? Well, I mean, of course, Lukey, the steward of the dwarf house, I'm sure he's never wrong in opinion, but at least he had a very ill opinion of this fellow, and he claimed that he does have some kind of a thirst for gold and treasure, so he might be looking for whatever is. And I believe what the map was referring to was the Black Barrow at the King's Chair. That's the one we were looking for. Yeah, I think that he might be looking for whatever's in that barrow. Is my
Is not
guess.
His map, please.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking if Gror drew the map, why wouldn't Gror just draw another map if he knows where it is already?
That's true. Oh, by the way, Greg, thank you very much for welcoming us in your lovely and nice house, and I'm very sorry not to be able to thank your nice wife and all your children, but I hope that we could have a way to meet them, to meet and know each other.
Yes, you're very welcome. You'll note that you've got the best guest room that I have to offer. And yes, I'm sure that eventually you will meet my wife and my sons. Yes, of course, that will happen.
Arthaniel, Esteldor, you note that you don't got any guest rooms.
It's okay.
No, they're sharing the room that's kind of reserved for when the cousins and such come over, and they share like a bunk bed style.
Nice.
It's
That's more than that's very nice. Yes. Thank you for your hospitality.
It's not the least I could do.
My friends, I wonder if this Gror have any associated other.
I don't really know. I as far as I learned, he wasn't like on behalf of anybody, right? It was just sort of
Yeah, so
Their
Lukey didn't mention anything, and you've not had an
No.
opportunity to try to solicit more information.
in
I-
retrospect I could have asked, but sorry.
No, it's okay. I just have a general question for the group. Do we have a plan, or let's talk about the plan about what we want to do about the map?
Well, I'd like to know what my friend was getting up to with this map while he was alive. I feel like it's a mystery that I need to resolve for myself. I'd like to see where this place was, what it was that perhaps drove he and Thomas apart, or he and his brother apart.
Mhm.
How far is Midgewater?
Oh, okay. So you reckon that it is? Shall we? In fact, I'll tell you what. Let us.
I think
It's
2 days.
close by.
2 days from Bree.
Yeah, from Bree it's like about halfway. When I look at the old maps we had, it's about halfway through between Bree and Weathertop. Ish.
Yeah, and you know it's in the top, the side opposite from Bree in the top corner. So if you just give me 2 seconds, what I'll do is I'll bring up the map. 2 seconds.
But this is mostly marshlands, you know, we would have to get provisions and be sure that we're ready for the journey.
Yeah. At least Arthaniel and Gert, possibly Esteldor, will know it's really bad travel. Gudrun and Barnak, possibly, depending upon kind of how attentive you were on the road through, you'll have seen it from the Great East Road as you kind of came past Weathertop. Just awful marshlands covered in you're all in fog and such like. The Forsaken Inn, which is about a day's journey outside of Bree, which itself is not a great place. You may not have even stayed there. Gert, you probably aren't. You don't tend not to stay there if you're heading east, and then maybe another day's on from there. Right. What I'll do is I will just.
Well, while we ponder on that, I just have another question for the group. So my question would be, if we want to leave, do we want to find out about this grower? I could do some checking or looking around town, but how much do we want to know about this grower? Potential accomplices, obviously they will take time, but it can be done if we want to do that, or we can ignore it and then just go where we want.
No, I don't think we should ignore it. I think if we can learn more about him, of course it could be nothing, but as you say, he could be a part of some kind of an organization. They basically follow us to this burrow, and I don't know, have us open it or something and then kill us while we're there, take all the treasure. That's not a good prospect. But I also agree. I'm very much interested as to who is this a burrow of, and if you are going, I would be very happy to join in your travels.
Okay, so I don't know. Yes, can you guys see the map now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I can't see the map.
Yes. Got it.
Do I have to click this watch stream?
Yes.
I have
see.
never really done this before. So as players, you're probably kind of very aware of this, but essentially, the Shire, Bree lands, Midgewater marshes there. The Forsaken Inn is kind of like here-ish, just where the edge of the hill meets the marshes on the road, more or less. And the King's Chair is probably where the M and the A are of marshes.
So basically on the other side.
Yeah.
So, is it better to just take the road further to Weathertop and then just cut up through the land that isn't necessarily marsh and approach it from the east rather than going straight through all of the marsh and bog and everything there?
So are you suggesting coming along the road and then kind of like going up and around the gap between the Weather Hills?
I think it would be better because in these marshes when we went on the road there were kind of mosquitoes, how they call it. I can't remember. Knickerbreakers, some very nasty creatures, very little, and I think they live in these marshes, and so if we stay far from there, it would be better.
Could we go up towards Fornost and cut across to the right, past the top of Chetwood?
If that's a question to me, you can do whatever you guys choose to do. If it's a question to the group, you guys talk it through.
To the group here, like in character, he would ask that.
Yeah. My friend, this place is more than me, so please, you can draw any road from any way through this land, and I will follow you.
I think thanks Gudrun. I think I see the value of not perhaps going through the marshes if we can avoid it, even if we have to spend a little bit more time and perhaps a bit more risk of encounters. But I think that might be worth it. But yeah, so I can see how that would be possible.
So Gert's proposed taking the original road rather than the road past Chetwood because he knows that his wife and his in-laws live in Chetwood, and he doesn't want to roll past Chetwood and potentially be exposed to be going on a second ill-advised adventure before he's recovered from the first.
I mean,
We'll cover you up.
Myself and Arthaniel, we can get through the woods.
No, I'm a ranger. Leave me alone. I'm a third ranger.
In case the wife wants to meet Gudrun, perhaps we would have to lend Gudrun another hood just in case.
Yeah, she could be potentially a ranger. Yeah.
May I propose a few more considerations, bring them to the table? First of all, should we, in case, if we assume that this map in front of us is very sought after, do we have the skill to try to maybe draw up a decoy map that perhaps points in the completely opposite direction elsewhere and sort of have that be, that we are sort of carrying around kind of aloofly and easygoing if that is the one that would be lifted off our person. That
would be a great idea if we had the skill to do that.
I can see why dwarves are now so sought after as adventurers.
The fine idea. Who is the map maker amongst us? I think I have some old.
There are dwarven runes on this map, so at least I think the hand of our friend Barnak will be involved in this task.
Yeah, well, if we had a brush or a quill, I could try to pretend it's a chisel and do that. But then also, second consideration, sort of juggling several things at the same time. Do we take on young Thomas as a torchbearer in this
Oh, thank you to mention it.
journey.
I would tell you about that. I think this reckless boy could be really dangerous in Bree if left alone.
Mhm.
Not, I'm not saying that is the right choice to bring him in another adventure. However, if we left this alone, it could be, well, drawing the attention of this grower and maybe somebody else of his gang.
Yes,
Yeah,
if
I
there
see.
is someone of
Yeah.
ill repute. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. Carry
No,
on.
that's okay. Yeah. I was just gonna say, yeah, the town guards were following him as well. So if anybody else finds out about the map off Thomas that we've got it, because he does know we have it, they could use him to get to us, maybe.
He could be in danger as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the point is that we could give to Thomas the false map, the forged map, and then Thomas will give it to the Reeve. So he would be free from the attention of this
This is
girl, and we could go where we want without any followers.
well, Gudrun. I think it's a very good idea. But if we're spinning the web or of intrigue so broadly now, I think we could perhaps even hide the map in a very sort of rangery hiding spot, then tell Thomas about this, and then he will spill the beans under the pressure, which because we are analyzing it so much, so he will probably be put under some sort of pressure, and he will reveal it. On the argument about taking him with us, it's sadly, I think he has his own life to live, and unless he can contribute to the group, I could be persuaded otherwise. But I just want to flag that I'm not the biggest fan, I must say.
What time of night is it? Is it early evening or when?
So what? It's April, so you'll have waited until it went dark. So it's probably 8-ish of the evening.
So Gert was thinking maybe we wouldn't have the map, the false map, done per se. However, he was thinking that perhaps a spirited tale at the end of the Prancing Pony, where talk of the latest adventure that just occurred might draw a large crowd and potentially serve as a distraction for the two rangers who have been told in no uncertain terms that they are not to enter the inn during the evening, could find this grower and potentially other things that have been happening when otherwise they would be followed around town by Bree wardens. People might be otherwise occupied. Or we could wait a day and potentially have a fake map and just kind of, I could maybe leave it hanging out of my pocket while I'm telling the story at the end, and not too unsubtly make it available for maybe someone with some light fingers or some sticky fingers to make off with the false map. I don't know. I'm just throwing some potential ideas out, but I think that would be a good distraction if we needed it.
I think I'll be up for that, and I know a thing or two about finding out about people and things. So that's if you go and enjoy your beers, we could have a look around town.
I do have a spare quill. We've lost Gudrun.
Yeah, we lost Gudrun. Yeah.
So actually, there, Gudrun's back. I think I have some of the materials that Barnak would want for his false map. But I don't know how long it would take him since he's a stone mason and not a map maker.
That's true. Well, I also don't know how to make magic maps, so I don't know how convincing it would be. But I mean, we can certainly try, like, at least, give it a, just a general idea that that's the map.
All you have to do is mark an X in the middle of Midgewater Marsh.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That do they know that there is? Do they know that the X is magically concealed, or do I just draw the blank map and kind of leave the riddle aspect of it?
You could. Yes, I think yes. So, just
because if obviously Graw is a dwarf himself, so I'm sure he would know the secrets of dwarf maps.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So-
Also, does Thomas? That's a quick question. Does Thomas know or saw us revealing any elements of the map?
He knows of the map, but I don't think he was there when you revealed it because you made deliberately that he was away. You kept it all to yourselves, so he does not know the secret source of revealing the map.
Yeah, he was with me picking mushrooms, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was.
So this is so if we potentially handle the Grower issue delicately, then any map we produce, it should be fine, I think.
All right. So the question is, do we want to put it in the middle of the marsh because they will suspect that that's where it is, or do we want to go completely off the rails and put it like somewhere
My
beyond
limited knowledge of the these sort of structures are definitely you will have lots of those around South Downs, so it's quite likely that there will be some really old burial grounds, and putting an X there would be plausible, I think.
Okay, so the idea is to create a false map and to have it with an X in the South Downs. Oh, have I got that?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. While I go, or potentially with Esteldor, we can discuss that. But then while I go around town trying to discover Gror and his conspiracy, if there is one, but I guess there's always conspiracy.
So is the plan? So it's going to take Barnak some time to counterfeit the map. And I think if I was following correctly, the idea is for Gert to create an opportunity for it to be stolen, whilst he's telling tales at the pony. So is the intention?
Either that, or we hide it and let someone see it be hidden, or we tell Thomas where it is and he reveals it to someone. But we're going to take him with us because he can't be trusted to be alone, or he could be put in danger. So I think the original plan was to for the Rangers to hide it in a place where someone it could be revealed later after we'd left town. But I just thought it might, if we couldn't find an accomplice to do that, we could also kind of let someone steal it from Gert as he's, drinking.
Yep, having night beer, as I think we're now going to call it.
Having his night beer, yeah.
Yes, and I promised that I will entertain in the common room with the song about what happened with the troll, and the hero, Gert, is the troll slayer, the hero.
Gert likes the sound of that, but he's the reaction of the Reeve has really set him. He's been used to it, and he's been happy to kind of weave in that the Reeve sent him off to such and such place, and to deal with a pesky bandit while he was delivering silk or something. But this is kind of a little bit more seems a little bit more important to him, and he knows that he can't, claim that the Rangers were of as much help as they were, but something in him doesn't want to downplay Barnak and Gudrun and the Rangers. He doesn't want to really downplay their contributions as much as he normally would, I'll say. So he's kind of at a little bit of a crossroads trying to figure out how he's going to actually weave this tale.
Does Gert tell Gudrun that? Is that a conversation that you both have?
This is 100% Gert's internal monologue. He will not. Yeah, he keeps that to himself because he's not certain. But he will let Gudrun sing or entertain first, and then he will, he will come in after, and we'll see what it is that she has to. He's heard her sing, and so he's very keen for the people of Bree to experience that as well. So.
Okay. So is there more to be done on the kitchen table of the Gandry homestead?
If we are making a map and we're doing all of this stuff, I assume that we need to plan out the actual journey itself and what we'll need to bring with us, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing for Gert to get supplies for traveling and things, so it won't raise any suspicions for him to get, provisions and, some rope. We'll be bringing rope this time, amongst other things.
Maybe it is time I could help you, because I have some tasks to do. I need to bring a parcel, and it's not a mystery. And so I need to organize travel. Then I ask you your help, your kind help, to escort me, my lady, on this road, and then the help also of my friend Barnak, that maybe is on the road, and Ranger go where they want, and we cannot prevent them to follow or to cross our roads,
Yeah, that's perfect. So there's cover there, and it is the truth. So
maybe I can ask your wife to have your help.
Yes, of course. Another time.
Can I just be there when that happens, please?
Maybe if I send her these scented handkerchiefs, she'll be minded to help us out.
Oh, poor Gert. All right.
Okay.
Paul, I just because it seemed to me that the guys are planning a little bit of the action here, so I thought maybe I'll just sneak out, and I'll say, please carry on planning. I think we're on the good path here, but maybe I'll go out while the night is young and try and locate that dwarf, Esteldor. feel
Yeah.
free to come if you want. But it's up to you. Whatever you feel is more useful. And
Okay.
I'm hoping to just sneak out.
Look after the lad, please.
Oh,
I would not be surprised if this Gror is around his home now, lurking somewhere, and spying
I
on
mean-
the lad.
We'll
Yeah,
go there first.
yeah.
That's a very good advice, Gudrun. Thanks.
out of character, Matt, what skills are you proficient in for like finding people?
So, I've got good awareness, and stealth is also okay. I've got explore as well. So,
Okay.
um,
Mine's I've got proficient in hunting. And then I've got 3 dots in that. My explorer and my stealth is just 2 dots.
yeah, I'm 2 as well, but that's my favorite. And I've got 3.
Yes, I mean, yeah,
stealth.
mine not. Yeah, mine not favoured. So.
Cool. And you can also possibly borrow the A to Z of Bree from the Gundry shelf, and marked on there as all the homes, along with local traffic conditions. Okay, so the
Bree.
range.
Does Bree have a phone book?
Not yet, but give it time. Okay, so we haven't resolved the journey you want to take out, whether you're going to kind of go along the road and around or anything like that. But we'll come to that. So I'll move us back to the I'll move us back to, I think if I hit that. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh, okay, good. So after your conference, the 2 rangers kind of like head out into the darkness of the Bree night, doing exactly what the Reeve said they should not be doing, going to hunt and possibly maim, injure, intimidate, rightful guests of the town. What could go wrong there?
Steer clear of the old women.
Gudrun is just making herself home in Gert's wife's favourite chair, knitting that should not be knit. Barnak is wondering how he can kind of translate his skill with stone to skill with paper, which is basically like softer stone, surely. And Gert is feeling all of the various threads that he kind of like had kind of tight at the start of the session start to unravel a little as time moves on.